Welcome to the first of hopefully a series of puzzles and survival tips that we're going to give to help for the members of SOS and whoever. My tune's name is Nariele. I'm joined by Cownaugh, and we're going to talk today about the arena within puzzles and survival. Now, this is a area that I personally have found a little bit of a quandary because I do it every day, and I probably have about 200 challenge tokens built up just because I find it so god awful boring, and I can't really get past too many levels, and it's a complete mystery to me in how you would get to the glory levels or anything like that. So I guess my first question to you would be, do you have a main lineup of heroes that you use all the time, or do you use different ones based on who you're facing?
Well, for me, I basically use my strongest for right now, which is recommended by most people would be your strongest because that's what you dedicate your vitality points into, your upgrades, everything. So I would say yes, but I'm also saying I'm not using the best ones for the arena. There are specific troops made or heroes made for the arena. And so for me, I will switch on an occasion, but most of the time it is my most powerful hero.
Okay, so and when you are selecting the heroes among your five most powerful, does the color that they are come into consideration, or you just simply go with the strongest?
So again, color, yes, should play a factor. In most aspects, you should be able to create damage with every color. So in theory, you should have one of each color so that you can maximize your damage. But for me, I actually tend to lean towards more what would work conjoining with each other with their abilities and also my most powerful. So I do not use a full lineup of every color. I actually use every color but wary, which is gold.
Okay, so out of curiosity, what is your current strongest lineup?
So my current would be Requiem, Ulrich, um, Zeph, Obsidian, and what is my last one?
Probably a healer of some sort.
Yes, it'd be the healer Eve.
Eve. Okay.
Yeah,
So you are taking a red, a green, a blue, a green, and a purple. So
correct.
you're skipping the golds altogether.
I'm skipping the gold for now. I do have one that I'm bringing up, which would be Lady M. Lady M is actually a very, very good option to have for arena.
Okay. Like I've echoed a lot of yours, or a couple of yours at least. I have Requiem and Ulrich as well. I'm using Marlowe, Fox, and Myers because I have one of each color right now, only because that just seemed to be. I always hate seeing that no hero present warning when a color hits that I don't have a hero of. But
Right.
so Lady M, I just recently got her. Now, something that I tend to avoid in the arena is whenever I'm faced with somebody who has two healers. Usually, when
Mm-hmm.
I see Fox and Eve in the enemy lineup, that just tends to be the most long drawn out battle I can ever imagine. Do you have any particular avoidance of that, or do you have strategies you use to take that down?
So I actually have both. I will avoid if they are in the two back corners. And the reason why I avoid in the back corners, there's only one line that could damage that troop at that time. So you basically have to take out the middle, the two next from the middle, and then the ends to be able to kill those healers. So I will avoid those ones most of the time. Um, but then again, I also have a lineup that I would target Fox first because I'm actually using two greens. So if I can get a green line to hit Fox, I'm actually doing double the damage than I normally would. And I would take her out. Plus, she does not have the ability to basically respawn or revive herself.
Like Eve does, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Another area that always seems to be a blockage for me is when you come to certain battles where they restrict the colors that you can use. and
Mhm.
I'm always forced. Usually, I have one or two of my top heroes who can fulfill that role, but then I'm forced to use heroes that are not as built up as others. So when you have that kind of thing to, how do you recommend we prepare for that kind of thing, other than just purely level everybody up? So,
Well, yes, and that's the biggest thing is you only have so much that you can put into each hero, and what you're talking about is the ultimate challenge where they restrict certain colors.
oh,
Um,
I'm sorry. Yeah,
so,
yeah,
so you um, battle with the ones that maybe you're strongest. So for me, I try to have one powerful hero in each color. What I am lacking in is obviously the wary, which is gold. As far as my strongest one, I think my strongest is only level 215 or something like that. Um, and I'm actually leveling up Myers, which is the one that you have.
yes.
Um, the other one that I'm actually bringing up too is Lady M. But if you can get one or two 4-star of each color up to its max 210, and then try to fill in with the rest of your 5-star in that same color, you should have pretty much no trouble completing your tasks. That again may not be possible because you don't have as much to level them up, but with the one powerful 5-star hero, if you have one at 310 and it's something that can get you by, let's say for example blue, which is calm, I think it's Zeph is an amazing survivable hero with high defense. If you have that and you have a whole bunch of low other blue and you're trying to finish off that ultimate challenge, you can probably survive it not having everybody maxed out.
Okay. Now there are a few heroes that just seem to be incredibly difficult to defeat in the arena, and the one that you are using that I'm not currently using is Zephyr, and I just every time I meet that guy, it's a hell of a fight.
Right.
So um, maybe tell me about some of your favorite heroes and why they're some of your favorite heroes.
All right. So the one thing I like is what you and I both use is Requiem. She is an amazing paralyzed player. She can actually paralyze up to 3 heroes. The downfall on that is that she um, also increases their defense when paralyzed. So unless you are maxed out per se with level, not necessarily their max enhancement of 7. Mine is not there yet. I'm almost 6, but if you're at that, it actually drops it down to 10% when it was 30% that it increases their defense. It then drops it down to 10. And what that does is instead of it stopping damage happening to that player, it stops their regen of their rage, and then it also decreases their defense, not necessarily overall, but from 30 to 10% with their boost.
Wow.
So you actually get to hurt them more when you have, I can't remember the name. Let me see. It's called Blade Mastery. If Blade Mastery is maxed out on Requiem, you can actually cause a good amount of damage to that player that is now paralyzed. That would be one of them. Ulrich is good as well in the lineup because it actually splits damage evenly among all other heroes. The downside of Ulrich is, let's say the opponent has an Ulrich and they end up casting their ability after you have already casted yours. And so let's say round 1, you cast the ability for Ulrich. Now you hit them one time with that ability. It spreads it evenly, but that boosted them. So now their Ulrich gets it. It now null and voids your Ulrich, and your Ulrich basically did nothing but one round. When you want to try to maximize, let's say, hold off, don't do his special ability until their Ulrich. So as soon as you do after their Ulrich, you just null and void theirs, and you can hit them for 3, 4, maybe even 5 rounds before they actually get their ability again. The next one that would be on my list would be Zeph as well. Zeph, and there's at least two other heroes that have the same ability in per se. So the Zeph has the ability to take each hero next to him to be able to increase their defense and allow them to basically have counterattack. So if you place Zeph in the center of your lineup, which most people do, you actually protect the two people beside the heroes beside. That is his benefit, and his defense is extremely high. If he gets hit with an ability and it doesn't kill him, he will self regen. Another hero
Okay.
that
So
is
before we move on, just based on that, then looking at the lineup that I have on the screen right now, that guy's made a mistake by putting Zephyr in the first position because he's only going to be helping the one hero beside him, right?
absolutely, yeah, correct. So the one next to him, and I don't remember the name of that one, Phoenix or something.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that would be the only character. So if that opponent wanted to move Zeph over one and put Phoenix in the corner and keep Obsidian in the middle, that would be an amazing upgrade for them. But he also has double healer. So if Zeph went between the two healers, then you would be able to have that almost as an unstoppable formation per se for what you're going against.
Okay. Your next favorite hero.
So on the same lineup as Zeph, which would be a decent one, is Iron Claw. Iron Claw, I believe, is wary, gold,
Yep.
and Iron Claw has that same ability. It takes the two heroes on each side of each other and has its own boost. Another one is also Mars. I'm not necessarily suggesting that, but those are two more that have the ability to support one on each side. Now, if you wanted to go into my next favorite that I think would be a good arena um, hero would be Lady M, which is again wary. And the reason why is any game that you have that you can have an attacker that does some good damage but also self heals is an amazing arena player, PvP, anything, because you're able to dish out decent attack but also be able to heal yourself. So once that hero is maxed out or close to maxed out, I would suggest many people to start using Lady M. Um, the next one after that would be Mantis, another wary hero. And I'm not suggesting a full lineup of wary, but Mantis has this ability that is beautiful in arena, ultimate challenge, anything PvP. It's the revival of a wary. 50% chance to be able to revive yourself, your hero, and not just one. It can, if you have a full lineup wary, every single wary by 50% chance can revive itself.
Wow.
So you have a chance to be wiped out and have one hero left that you're trying to kill, but because you have that 50% revival and one or two of yours come back, you have the ability to strike them back and win that battle. So you have a huge bonus there for an arena hero. Um, a good arena hero would be Leia.
Okay.
Leia is Leia is a new one. She is red, but I don't remember the name for red. She has that ability. When you use it, she takes no damage. She takes maybe one damage on any kind of attack when you use her ability. But that ability shouldn't be used until you're basically almost dead with that player, especially in Ultimate Challenge.
Right.
Ultimate Challenge, if you face it where you need all reds and there's no way because the two heroes that you're fighting are blue and that's your weakness, well, guess what? If you can get her down to 10 HP or whatever to be able to pop that ability, and if she dies within that, she basically suicides their whole squad. I have only done that once, and it basically causes the other team to basically die off real fast because she died in that protective state.
Okay.
Um, but again, it's very hard to achieve that because for her to get down to 1% and then have somebody attack her multiple times is highly unlikely. But still a great last minute defense for her ability.
Okay.
You have, I went over Requiem, Obsidian. Obsidian, which he heals himself in the beginning, but he also has this ability to pull enemy buffs. And what I mean by pull enemy buffs is basically if he uses his ability, he hits them and he can pull his ability and put it on another ally or himself. And what that does is it depletes the enemy hero and gives it to him, and it causes major damage. So he's a good one to pull enemy buffs, especially if you're going against a team that has a bunch of buffs on them, which is very common in Arena. Your next one would be Ephraim. Ephraim is a blue hero, 5-star, great for defense. I think maxed out and maybe 5-star, somewhere around 66% of defense is automatic for him. He has an ability to stun, and he just has that whole aspect of defending the entire, creating an entire attack increase for your heroes, or reduces attack for their heroes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's basically a good, let's minimize their defense and reduce their attack so they can't hurt me and they have weak defense. Now we launch all our abilities after we launch Ephraim, and then we can actually wipe somebody out pretty quick. And I just came across just said an important feature there is if you have your abilities, as I can see on there, you have Rek, Ulrich, Marlowe, Fox, and Myers.
Right.
Now, if every one of them are ready to use their ultimate ability, and I know I'm getting sidetracked, there is an order that you should do. And there's a reason for that, because if you're like a few hits away from getting rage and on your last one, but that's a key one, don't use your ability on those players until that one has its rage. So for me, if I was going to use your lineup and you had everybody ready for their ability, I would use Myers, Fox, Ulrich, and then I would do either Marlowe or Rek. That would be my order.
So like for me, I always, whenever I fight, I almost consider Myers and Ulrich interchangeable if they're both charged, because they don't really seem to affect each other. Am I missing something on that?
So Myers doesn't really do major damage when you use his ability. He basically reduces hit for your players, but also reduces their defense, I believe is what Myers does. Fox would dispel. So if you had even if you don't need to heal your players, I would still use Fox, because what that does is it potentially dispels your enemies, the enemy's heroes of their buffs. So if they have a defense buff, she potentially dispelled that. Then doing Ulrich, that will now put a defense buff on you and reduce their defense. And then doing Marlowe or Rek, it doesn't matter. They don't really have any benefits except for stunning or paralyzing. So if you do Marlowe first, what you can do is Marlowe, see who he stuns, and then direct your attack with Requiem to somebody that has not been stunned. That way they have a potential to at least get one more that are paralyzed.
Now, you touched on a subject which is another thing that we need to discuss, and that is rage. And in other words, how fast these heroes build up their special ability for launch.
Right.
I've always noticed that it seems that Ulrich is one of the slowest for generating rage. I try to make him a priority in every fight, because I want to get that debuff on the enemy where they all take damage no matter who hits who on that one. But what are your thoughts on rage generation and how that plays into it?
Well, sometimes it's tricky. Leia, as I mentioned before, has a fast rage increase. She basically, probably after 3 or 4 of those lineup, you can get full ability, but you don't want to cast her ability because you have a chance of ruining her and basically causing a suicide on her after that. So that would be an iffy to use her at all unless you absolutely had to. Someone like Ulrich and Obsidian are slow, but Obsidian usually peaks in rage faster by, I believe it's 1 from Ulrich. If again you have to wait that 1 extra round to let Ulrich get his ability before you use Obsidian, absolutely use Ulrich before Obsidian, no matter what, because that is going to split damage, but it's also going to do major damage. So every character actually has their rage regen or their rage level, how fast they do it on each one of the heroes. It will actually tell you. If you just click on them, you can see.
Okay, and is it, maybe it's just my perception, but it seems to me that most of the time that the initial rage function of any particular hero takes the longest, and after you've launched it, and maybe it's just because I'm into the combat at that point, but it seems like after Ulrich does his first thing, that the second one comes along a lot faster.
There's no difference. It's the same no matter what. The only thing that could increase it and make it go faster is if you have a hero that has that ability in one of their one of their abilities is to increase the rage regen by their same color, which there are a few heroes that do that.
Okay. Are there any other heroes that that you want to talk about before we move on?
Let's see. McCarty. McCarty is a red hero. Beautiful hero to have in the arena, in my opinion. One, McCarty does poison and usually poisons everybody. When he does his ability, he increases attack. And if he dies, he explodes and does over 100% damage to the enemies. So
the other cool thing about McCarty is that he is one of the few heroes that you can get built up fairly easily because his fragments are available in the pit.
Absolutely. Yep. And McCarty is not necessarily my go-to because I didn't mention him in my lineup and I rarely use him. But if you wanted to dedicate yourself to have an arena hero, he would definitely be one of the options that I would have.
Okay.
And then the last one that I have that and most of these are, I believe most of these have been 5 stars. I do have some 4 stars, but when you get like for like and they're all maxed out, unfortunately 4 stars go away. The only benefit for 4 stars is their either passive abilities that they have that help boost troops or their ability to help you in ultimate challenge. But my last one is Marlowe, and you have Marlowe in your lineup.
Yeah.
Marlowe would be an option because his stunning ability. But what he also does is he has a rage ability that helps him increase rage faster. So you will see that when you're in a battle and he pops his first attack or I think it's either his first attack or it's within 6 rounds, his rage just pops off really quick. That is one of his abilities to start something really fast with that hero. And that would be basically it for my lineup for what I would have.
Okay. So when you go into the actual arena, you're presented with a screen like this, just for the list of the winners before you go into the challenge. And so based on that, when you go into the challenge, first of all, you generate, I don't know what, 10 tokens a day or something like that if you do all the dailies and all that stuff. However many it is, doesn't really matter. But
you get 5 free challenges a day, and you have the ability to purchase 10 more. No. You're right. That's a different one. That's the troop one. Sorry.
Right.
Yes, you're right.
So, are you using all of yours every day?
Absolutely not. I probably have. I think yours. If that's yours, you have 159.
Yeah.
I probably have about 400.
So is it just a time thing, or what? Why do you deprioritize this particular aspect of the game?
So there's 2 options here. There is a bye week that we don't have that other option for that other arena, right? So you don't get that. So during that bye week, I don't really care. I don't push to have my arena to be high. If I get in top 500, that's fine with me. I don't really care. But also, there is a point that if you need something out of arena and you haven't used all your arena stuff for points, then you need to make that push to try to be up higher, because the better rank, obviously, the more tokens you get to be able to make those purchases. So for me, I don't make that push. Actually, this week, because it is that bye week, I purposely went in there and chose people in our alliance or even in our state, clicked on attack, and then I withdrew the attack to fail immediately. And the reason why is, one, that completed my dailies.
Mhm.
Two, it dropped me down to the lowest rank, so I knew I wasn't going to drop anymore. And if somebody attacked me, and then if I have to make a line drive back up, you're actually facing weaker opponents, and you have a better chance of getting a higher or better reward, as in like a speed boost, 3 hour, 8 hour, 24 hour speed boost by defeating multiple in a row. I've seen it have a benefit that way. I don't know if it's true, but I've noticed that the more you beat in a row, the better your rewards.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, I've never picked up on that. Um, was there anything else about this arena you want to talk about before I ask one other question?
It, I don't know if you're able to like click on one of those, or even that last one that you did, the that shows the other person's hero lineup.
Oh,
Um,
this one.
yeah. So you see how they have one of almost one of every color. They have two blues in their lineup. They're missing a wary of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, with this person's lineup, you look at your formation and your might strength, and you look at their might strength, and you go, well, it'll be a tough battle. I may not win, or they'll probably beat me easy. Well, that's false. The reason why is, if you put the appropriate heroes together, you can have a huge advantage over the other person's, depending on what their lineup is. If
Okay,
I was,
for the sake of argument, let's look at this one. What would be the 5 heroes you put against his lineup, and in what order?
in honest opinion, your lineup is not a bad lineup.
Okay.
The only thing I would change is maybe getting rid of Marlowe or Requiem, whatever one you decide. And the reason why is, though, they're both stunning abilities. Um, if if you if you did that, then you would have an ability to get a character that actually did solo damage. And I would choose somebody that would do solo damage, whether that's Obsidian or Scarlet. And the reason why is that directs the huge damage percentage to one character versus splitting it like Requiem and Marlowe does.
Okay, great. Anything else you wanted to talk about on the arena itself?
I think I'm good on that. I'd be interested to see people's questions that they have, and I'm open to answer any more if anybody else thinks of any.
And just before we end this, I want to ask one more thing. Now, you mentioned the other arena that happens once every 2 weeks. Now, I don't have any
Right.
screenshots from that one, but I did want to ask a couple of quick questions on that. That one basically is restricted to 5 battles for free, and then after that, you have to pay diamonds in order to participate.
Right, which is 10 more token or 10 more tickets, and I think it's $1,000 or 1,000 gems total that you can purchase.
Do you do that every 2 weeks?
I do not purchase every time. What I do is, within the first 4 days, I just use what I have, and I get up in the ranks as fast as possible. Because if somebody attacks you and you lose, or if you win, you continue moving up. But if you stay down in your 1,000 rank or 10,000 rank, or how many people are actually in there, and nobody attacks you, then you end up just sitting where you're at. But if you move up in the ranks really fast and early, somebody can attack you and lose, you continue moving up. And that way you have to lose yet less of your tokens in the end. And then if you wait to the end, you can actually purchase 10 a day. So now you have 15 opportunities if you're up there in ranks to be able to catch the top 10 or top 20 or whatever you're shooting for.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to give us your insights on this. And if anybody is interested in sending us feedback, I've set up an email account, saviorsofstate@gmail.com, or you can get a hold of either of us within the Line app or within the game itself. So until next time, thanks very much.
Thank you.